bless our veterans. We're glad that you could join us here in the house. Today I got a special guest, Don Brown, my favorite radio man. WRGG 93.7. Warrior Power Hour. You can catch him every Sunday at 6 to 7 p.m. Greencastle, Pennsylvania. That's WRGG 93.7. Warrior Power Hour. Welcome.
Thank you, man.
I am honored to have you here, brother.
Hey, it's an honor to be here.
Guys, there is something I want to clear up real quick. Last video I posted about Washington, D.C., I didn't have a lot of info on it, and I stressed out about the veteran that got shot and killed. I also learned that there were some police officers that also were killed, and I want to send prayers to their family. It turned out to be just a hot mess down there, and my prayers are to the families of anybody who was killed in that episode. That's enough about DC. Now let's go on to bigger and better things. My pamphlets, guys, if you haven't seen it, my pamphlets is out. I didn't bring a copy of the pamphlet with me. I'll have my associate get the pamphlet. I have my pamphlets out. If you guys have not seen them, they're out pretty much in the Hagerstown and the West Virginia and Pennsylvania area. This is the new pamphlet, and it's got the whole, it has the whole story of Blackout on the pamphlet. So, Mr. Brown, how's things been going, bro?
Everything's been going pretty well, man.
How's the show? And by the way, guys, Mr. Brown is a veteran, and God bless our veterans. And that's one reason why I said I'm so honored to have him on the show, because he is a veteran. How's the show? How's things going?
Things going pretty good. You know, WRGG 92.7. We are GA, so out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania. You can also visit us at www.wrgg.org. We can listen live every single day. I'm on every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. And where I talk about my military experience, I talk about before the service, after the service, and during the service, and my point of view on, you know, how it was being before the service, how it is when I was in the service, and how it is now that I'm out, and how combat PTSD, TBI, secondary PTSD, survivors get suicide, all those things affect veterans. And I don't speak for all veterans, but hopefully something I say can shed some light on why your veteran may be acting the way they're acting, and then maybe you can get a better understanding. Because I like to spread the knowledge of everything, because what I've learned that sometimes people just don't understand it, you know, and like I tell people, you know, we've had, like with TBI, which is a terminal brain injury. Now, in the civilian world, we knew what a TBI was, because it's like when you saw the commercial in the 80s, not wearing a seatbelt. You know, the dummy hit his head on the front, hit in the back, boom, that's a TBI. But we knew what it was in the civilian world, but we didn't know what it was in the military world until the Iraq War, when we had the IEDs and the blasts and stuff like that. So now it's just giving knowledge to everyone so they have a better understanding.
Yeah, another thing that that should be on a lot of people's minds is the 22 a day.
Yes, the suicide rate for veterans and combat veterans, and our current active duty has gone up. It's currently at 22 a day, but it's going up, you know, daily. But the national average is 22 a day, and that's such a big topic that a lot of people do not like to talk about. I'm just fortunate to be at a point in my life that I can talk about it. I had 2 suicide attempts, so I can give my point of view on why I tried to commit suicide. But of course, everyone's reason is totally different. And you know, what I've learned is, like my wife would say, she says, you know, you just have to have one thing to live for. Not 100, not 1,000,000, just one simple thing. and it doesn't have to be real difficult. You know, for me, it's my children. At the end of the day, it's my children. And as parents, you know, we all love our children no matter what. You know, but you know, some people may like cats, some people may like dogs, some people may like ferrets. But what I've learned on my first attempt, it was very overwhelming for me because I was confused. So I did my first tour to Iraq from '03 to '05 without a break. So it was a straight 2-year stint. I came back in '05. My unit told me I didn't fit the quality of life. I had road rage, was angry, and didn't know why. And, you know, people really didn't know why because we didn't know what combat PTSD was. You know, my chain of command would say, oh, it's just shell shock. The Vietnam guys had it. In 2 weeks, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Boom. You know, so you did your everyday thing. You know, woke up in the morning, did your PT, did the child, did your job, did more PT, went back to your job and then did PT in the evening. Then, you know, went to the Class 6 or went to the NCO club, which is a bar, and just drank and you smoked cigarettes. So that was the norm on active duty. But of course, when you get out, that's not the norm because now I've learned in the VA system, if you drink 1 beer a day, you're considered an alcoholic in the VA system. But when you're on active duty, it's totally different because you're doing your sit-ups, your push-ups, your 5-mile, 10-mile run, so you're burning it off. You know, but of course, you know, once I got out medically retired, of course I sat around. You know, it's the truth. You know, I didn't have to wake up and do PT every morning. And it was very confusing for me on 2 aspects. In the military, for me, being 11 Bravo, which is infantry, and then 88 Mike, which is a driver, 92 Alpha, which is logistics, and then 95B, which is military police. My day started at 3 a.m. It didn't stop until 5 p.m. So when it stopped, okay, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to go to the gym one last time, get a good workout on, or I'm going to go get something from the Class 6 or go to the NCO club. So my day started at 3, ended at 5. When I got in the civilian world, my day didn't start at 3, it was 9 to 5. But I was still used to getting up at 2:30, 3 o'clock, but there was a big gap. What did I do? I didn't know what to do. I was lost. I really was literally lost. So what do you do when you get lost? You try to find something to fill those gaps. Okay, so then, of course, 9 o'clock got here. Okay, let me go to work. Boom. I get to work. I'm off at 5. You're still a little lost because now you may not still have access to the gym. Because when I got out, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do PT 3 times a day. I'm done with that, you know. But it was there for a reason. The structure was there for a reason. Not just physical, not just physical ability, but also good mental ability. Because when I went to the gym, I was less stressed out because I was putting all the effort on the treadmill, on the weights, boom, so I didn't get as much stress. So if I had a rough day, guess what? I put all the anger, all the anxiety up on the weights, you know, on that treadmill. I ran, or I went out and I ran 5 or 10 miles, you know. So once that went away, it was just filling that void, so it was confusing. So amongst the confusion, you know, your mind it's just what they call intrusive thoughts. So you get the thoughts of everything that's been going on in the past coming to the forefront. And that's scary because we all, as human beings, have intrusive thoughts. It's nothing negative against intrusive thought. Okay, so, and I'll give an example of intrusive thought. Okay, so it's funny to me, but it may not be funny to you. So intrusive thought I would have was if I'm sitting in my room, I say, I wonder if I can run through this wall. And of course, you really can't run through a wall. There's joists in the wall, there's drywall up there, there's 2x4s, you really physically can't run through a wall. But it's an intrusive thought. You're really not going to act on that intrusive thought. But when you have an intrusive thought about running through a wall, about driving and just running into a bridge or something like that, it compiles because you don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So it just kept compiling. And then, of course, with everyday life situations, my wife just had a newborn. I was kind of stressed out about that because I didn't have the structure of being on active duty. You know, everything is, you know, hey, they got TRICARE. You know, you go to the doctor whenever you want. Don't have a copay. Everything is set out for you. You're living in a safe bubble, and you really are. And when you leave that bubble, it's like, you know, when a child leaves a home, when a bird leaves a nest, it's like, okay, I'm confused. And not to say the military itself failed. They didn't fail. It's just no one thought in advance on how to enhance getting out of the military. And I hear a lot of people, you know, because I have other veteran buddies, that's a big, but it's like, oh, you know, they should have had a process for you. Well, if they didn't know to have that process, they're really not to blame. Now they do have a better process, of out processing. It's not perfect, but each year it gets better, better, better. Nothing is done overnight. But it's sad that we lose 22 a day, but it had to be quantifiable to make a change. And for me, the first attempt, it was just so confusing. I was fortunate enough to have a bunch of people around me that made sure that I was safe. My first attempt, because I was still on active duty. So what I did was I overdosed on trazodone. So on active duty, when I was on active duty, they give you abundance of your meds. So in the civilian world, I'm on my meds now in the VA. They only give you a 2-month supply.
Yeah.
Well, on active duty, they give you 6 month to a year supply because you may be deployed or you may be going to different states. So the system is totally different from state to state. So they say, okay, here's a 6-month supply. Okay, guess what? I got a whole cabinet full. So I was stressed out. I took 2 bottles of trazodone and I said, let me drive around. So I went to a friend of mine. They worked at a bowling alley and they just noticed something was wrong. And they ended up taking me to the ER. And, thankful to them, they made sure I was safe. And I was in a coma for 15 days. And the only reason, after I got out and, my sergeant major ended up sending me to Walter Reed, that was before they went to Bethesda, because it was like 2006 when this happened. And the sergeant major didn't know either. So he just told me, you know what, Sergeant Brown, if anyone asks you on a deployment, you're on an assignment. Because no one really knew PTSD, even in 2006. It was still new. It didn't have a name for it. It was just, okay, you're shell shocked, or you just, got battle fatigue. It's just, no one really knew. And I did it, 90-day inpatient at Walter Reed, and had a little bit better understanding. And they really didn't call it PTSD. I forgot what they used the term, but it wasn't really PTSD then. It was just kind of integrating back into, the real world, so to speak. So when I was in Iraq, I ran red lights, ran stop signs, I bumped cars. It was just something you did two straight years. It was my norm, being a gunner, shooting off a few rounds before you leave the compound. That was my norm. But of course, once you come back to whatever state you come back to in the United States, that's not the norm. So I went out and bought an F-350 diesel truck, 2005 model. That was before they had the little special sound buried under the hood. So when you started that thing up, it sounded just like a Humvee. It sounded just like a 5-ton. You had the big roaring. It was wonderful. So that was my safe zone. But I didn't know that would cause flashbacks. So with that, I would driving to and from work, and I sit at a traffic light and I see children cross the road. So my first flashback was when I was going from Kuwait to Iraq, where they used to have the women and children hold hands so the convoy couldn't come across the border. So of course, as Americans, as most people, not just Americans, but most people, are very compassionate. So what do? You stop. You don't want to run over children, you want to run over women. So when you did that, the men would come and grab the stuff off the side of the trucks. Because we have everything attached to the side, because your space on the inside is very limited. So then it forces you to either keep going and end up hurting or killing someone that's in front of the vehicle, but that plays a toll on your mind. So that kept flashing back because I smelled the smell of the diesel. I heard the diesel, even though it was just an F-350 diesel truck, it was the same diesel, it was the same sound, and that gave me that flashback, so that got overwhelming. So the intrusive thoughts went up, the flashbacks went up, the nightmares came out. So then, boom, I finally got out medically, no problem, no harm, no foul. I stayed in the Chambersburg area. Then I did a second attempt because it was still overwhelming. I didn't know how to manage the nightmares. I didn't know how to manage the intrusive thoughts. And it was just the transition from active duty, being, seeing doctors and stuff, to transitioning to the VA was totally different, like night and day. There was a 2-year wait for me to even get an appointment at the VA. So just imagine a 2-year wait from 2012 to 2014 to even get an appointment of an assessment. So then once you get the appointment, guess what? You have to tell your story from beginning to end. And then they make the decision, okay, you need to be in this group, or that group. So even that is overwhelming because I still didn't know, I didn't tell the full story. It was just, okay, I'm here to get seen, I get 30 minutes. 30 minutes is not a whole lot when you're trying to tell a doctor a story.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I didn't even know he or she wanted to hear it or not. So I'm not broken. I'm like, yeah, you know what, I was in the Army, this is what I did. You know, I'm proud of it. You know, not that anyone shouldn't be proud of it, but there's always a consequence of what we do. Yeah. And I'm not condoning, you know, death or killing, but at the end of the day, it was for a purpose to when you come back home that 9/11 wouldn't happen again. And, you know, it's just one of those things that it's very overwhelming if someone didn't understand. So that's why I try to tell the story. And it took me a while to tell the story. Here it is 2021, you know, and I'm still going through a process because certain things I still don't talk about, but things I'm comfortable talking about with like my suicide event, because suicide is such a big thing and people should know about it. And, you know, as I tell people, you know, even on my radio show, and even when I talk to people in general, just saying hello to somebody means a lot. Yeah. Holding the door for someone means a lot. That one act of kindness can change their whole perspective.
Thanking a veteran for their service and welcoming them home can change a lot.
Oh yes, definitely.
And you know that, and what you were talking about, I'm going to bring these guys in. I've never served, but for 10 years I've been talking to veterans and I've heard some pretty upsetting stories that you know a lot of them won't talk about. And I never ask questions. I let them talk. But just imagine you go off to basic training and you find 3 or 4 friends, okay? And you guys hang out, you know, and it's like, and all of a sudden you're shipped overseas and you're all 4 of you there, all 4, you know, become good friends. And you're all out doing your, I guess your tour, you know, and you come under fire. And now these 4 are like brothers at this point. You know, they got each other's back. You know, one of them gets shot, they're going to drag him off the field. You know, they're going to take care of him. Imagine you sitting beside one of your friends, and 1 minute you're talking to him, and you look in and say, "Hey, bro, be careful, man. You know, you seen something," and 2 seconds later they're gone. Imagine that. They're gone. I don't mean just ran away. I mean laying on the ground. You just lost your best friend in war. Right? Imagine when they talk about PTSD. Imagine that these guys got to come back home. And they got to remember this stuff. You know, they go to sleep and they wake up in the middle of the night because they remember seeing their best friend died right in front of them. You know, I mean, imagine the guy that's there in battle and all 3 of his friends gets killed around him. You know, I hear a lot of people that say, you know, PTSD, it's all made up. No, PTSD is not made up. Until you have been into battle and you have something that lingers on your mind that you've seen, there is PTSD. The song out there, and I can't remember the song, they taught you how to put the uniform on, but they never taught me how to take it off.
Right.
And that is a PTSD song. You know, fireworks. When they shot them fireworks off, almost hit the ground. You know, I mean, there's reasons for this. And, you know, and my prayers go out to each and every one that has to live. You know, they went and they served our country to make us proud. But even if they didn't get injured in that war in a way they did get injured. Because they have to come home and wake up in the middle of the night and remember who they lost. Remember how it happened, that they were right there, and they think they're right back in there again. They hear a certain noise and it brings it back to that time. You know, like he was saying about the diesel. You know, it brought him back to that time frame. And, you know, we have people out there with serious PTSD that actually flip out. You know, they'll wake up in the middle of the night, they'll have a pistol for home protection underneath their pillow, and they'll wake up in the middle of the sleep, grab that pistol and start pointing it everywhere because their mind put them right back to that particular moment. And, you know, my thoughts, my prayers go out to them. I can't tell them, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know what it's like. No, I don't know what it's like. I've never been there. I've heard the stories and I've seen it in their faces, you know. And if you could see the faces of some of the guys who tells me these stories, then you would be in the position right here to know that this is not a joke. You know, this is things that happen. You know, look, you don't have to die. You don't have to die in war to be a hero. Alright? No matter whether you die or you come home, you're still a hero. You served our country. Alright? But these guys, they got a lot to live with, man.
Yeah.
You know, and there's guys out there with some horrific stories that won't talk about it. And that's, you just can't open up to anybody. You have to be able to talk to somebody that you trust, and they just don't open up. We got guys in the VA center that's been into some horrific situations that you and me probably would have passed out. You know, I mean, we probably just couldn't take it, and they're holding it in because they got nobody to talk to.
Right.
And until our so-called political people in D.C. can figure out how to help people that they send off to fight their battles, I'm with our veterans. You know, that's why I can't stand politics.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for politics, and you'll always hear me say this, if it wasn't for politics, we wouldn't have a homeless veteran. Think about that. You know, everybody praised this senator because he died. Oh, he was a great man. But then four of our guys die in a helicopter crash from you know, a bomb or whatever. They come home to get 10 minutes of glory. The hell is that? You know, these guys over there, we sent them over there for their 10 minutes of glory because they got killed in war, but yet we're going to spend 3 hours on a political person's funeral? Nah, I disagree with that. I don't care if you're president, I don't care if you're a senator, you're a congressman, I don't care what you are. To me, only 2 people ever died for me. That's Jesus and soldiers. That's where my heart stays. And I get pretty worked up when I talk about this. You know, but it's just me.
That's the passion.
I mean, my dad served, but I never served. And my dad really never talked to me about service. So everything that I've learned about this was through other people. And, you know, it's such an honor to meet, you know, so many veterans in 10 years of time. And to know that some of the stuff that they went through is stuff that I never would want to go through. But if I had to go through it today, I would rather be standing beside a veteran who's been through it than somebody like myself who don't have a clue. And, you know, and that's just speaking from the heart, you know. When I foresee the problems that we're having in this country, I don't see anything mentioned about our men and women overseas right now. You know, I mean, I see the news, but I turn it off because there's nothing on that news that interests me. You know, why can't we hear more about our men and women in Iraq or Afghanistan or what's going on over there? You know, are we losing men and women? When's the last time you sit down and watch the news? You know, what have you heard on the news about our men and women overseas? Are they coming home? You know, what about the families that has men and women overseas? You know, you're not seeing anything on the news, and it's depressing. It's very depressing. We had 4 years of the last president, and we had very little about military.
Right.
Because everybody was so much hate. There's so much hate in politics is the reason why I hate politics. Because politics is nothing but hate.
Yeah, it's true.
You gotta hate somebody to be a political person. And, you know, it's just depressing for people like me who would like to know. And, you know, for one, I would like to know where I can do some, pack up some boxes and send them overseas. But you know what? Don't know where our men and women's at.
Right.
Because you never see it on the news. You never hear anything. You know, it used to be there was, you know, it wouldn't be just me. There's hundreds of people out there that do care packages that send them overseas.
Yeah.
Well, you know who most of them people are? Is family of somebody that's in the military.
Yep.
Because they know where their boy's at, or they know where their daughter's at. Me, I don't have anybody in the military. Don't know where to send it. Because you never hear anything about it. So what am I supposed to do? Walk up to, you know, one of these people and hope that their daughter or son's okay? You know, the last thing I'd want to do is walk up and say, hey, you know, I'd like to send packages overseas. Well, my boy just got killed in Afghanistan. Oh, yeah, that would end it for me. You know, that would be a situation I would not want to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so it's like, you know, we have a news channel, but they ain't doing us no good.
Nope.
I think the best thing on TV or radio right now is this man. Right here. Every Sunday from 6 to 7 o'clock. Because he talks about things that not only I'm interested in, but things that this country should be interested in. And if he gets any updates, he lets us know.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
Not too long ago, you talked about the convoy that got hit.
Yep.
You know, he found out about the convoy that got hit. Nothing in the news. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing in the news. So our local radio man gives us the information. And it's sad. It is really sad. And a lot of people say that, you know, people can't have passion unless they've been there. Well, I'm kind of a proven point that that's a false statement.
Yeah, it's definitely a false statement.
It is a false statement. And I'm proven fact of that. I do get emotional. I can get up in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of veterans and I can speak. Right? But if something happens that's like Mrs. Rose down at the VA Center who passed away 2 days before, Mother's Day. I went to the VA Center and I found that out and I was done for the day. I mean, I couldn't do anything because I wanted to have tears in my eyes because Mrs. Rose was a special person to me. I had met her 2 years before that. She was 92 years old. And every time I'd go into the VA Center and I would make sure that I headed down that corridor because she always got my first rose that I give out on Mother's Day to all the women in the VA. And I was so torn up that I let everybody else give the roses out. I just kind of like faded off into a, you know, where my wife was, Chuck, come on, we got to keep going here. You know, I was just in another world because that marked like the 7th person in the VA Center that I have met that have gone to meet their maker. And, you know, and that's hard. I mean, it's hard. It's not as hard as losing somebody in battle sitting beside you. Not even close. But it's hard when you're somebody like me, where you start meeting these people, and you sit down and you talk to them, and, you know, next thing you know, they're gone. And you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you got close family out there. You know, it's no different. If you lose your favorite uncle or your favorite aunt, you know, it's like pretty much all in the same
Yeah.
battleground.
Yeah.
You know, and I admire you, man. You pulled out of some, you know, from twice to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And you pulled out of it, and now you're out helping other people.
Yep.
And you know, guys, I mean, you have to admire somebody that does that. I know a couple people that's in the military that tries to help other people out, and it's hard, especially when you have flashbacks.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard because when you hear these other veterans and you're talking to these other veterans and you're trying to help them,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're hearing their stories.
Mhm.
Well, you're somewhat hearing their stories
Yeah.
because their stories are bringing your stories back.
Right.
And that's got to be hard. I mean, because sometimes you probably miss out on some of their conversation because it's in your mind of what happened to you
Yeah.
at that particular moment. And you know, here I am, somebody that's not even close to knowing how they feel, but I'm understanding that, you know, of course they're going to go a little AWOL in their mind because they're seeing things that happened to them in the past, and here's another veteran sitting there talking to them, and they're only catching half their story because their PTSD is kicking in. And I don't know if there's a cure. I don't know if there ever can be a cure. I think it might come down to the part where the individual has to cure themselves.
Yeah.
Because really, I don't think anybody out there. I mean, yeah, we can go talk to people, or you can talk to people, but I think it all comes back to what you did. You got a burst of power, and now you got a game plan.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away that you don't have your flashbacks,
Right.
but
It helps me manage it. It helps.
exactly.
Gives me a purpose.
Yes. And you know, and that's why I said I marry you for that, because there's a lot of people that the best way to say it for everybody to understand is the willpower.
Yeah.
They don't have a strong enough willpower to do that. And you know, you got people like me. You know, one thing we could do is step back and say, "God bless our veterans," or "Thank you for your service," or "Welcome home." That's, you know, that helps a lot of people
It helps
to
a
hear
lot.
that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fix the problem. You know, so maybe one day there will be just a cure, a miracle cure that can help people to do away with this 22.
Yeah.
To do with this 22 a day. Maybe one day all of our politics will disappear and all of our homeless will have brand new houses.
Right.
That's all we can wish for.
That's
You
it.
know, that's all homeless. That's not only veterans homeless. That's all homeless.
Yeah.
You know, them homeless people out there deserve just as much as you and me.
Yes. Definitely.
And you know, and I give what I could give. Even when I'm out and the truck's running low on cash and I'm worried about fuel, I've given money out to homeless people, homeless veterans. You know, mostly homeless veterans because that's what I see the most of. And you know, I've given my last $20 bill in Ocean City. The last 20 that I had in my wallet, I gave to the homeless guy down there that the police officer introduced me to because he kept asking to meet me. And the police officer walked over and asked me, you know, is it all right? And I said, well, yeah, it's all right. You know, he's a veteran. You know, heck yeah. I mean, and he told me that he wasn't there to ask me for anything. He just, you know, had a tear in his eye, and he told me, he said, I want to say, God bless you for your truck. He said, that truck, you know, just for me looking outside the fence, you know, because he couldn't afford to come in. You know, it costs like $20, $25 to come inside that fence. And I had nothing to do with the event. I was there for the event to, you know, honor and respect our veterans. And I even asked the police officer, I said, could he come in the other gate under me and come in and see the truck up close and then, then leave? And the officer told me, he said, no, he said, the event rules. He said, we can't even do that. And you don't know how hard it was for me not just to kick the gate open and let that guy come in and see the truck up close. But I slid him $20 and I told him, I said, look, I said, here's $10 for dinner and $10 for breakfast in the morning, And I said, and I hope that this will get you to tomorrow morning to where you run into somebody else that can help you again. Well, the next day he came and hunted me down because I was outside the gate with the truck. And of course, in the morning I like taking the truck all the way down to the ocean point there where, well, it's in the inlet, but it's like the little point that goes out into the water. And it's got that little tiny little wannabe lighthouse on it.
Yeah.
And I play taps out across the water. And I'm there and I'm playing taps. And of course I had two police cars pull up and they got out, and was saluting, doing their honorable thing for taps. And I turn around and here's this homeless guy. And he was just standing there waiting patiently. He left everything finished, just like a veteran would do. And when it got done, he walked over and he told me exactly what he had for breakfast. Now you tell me, did that hit your heart?
That's right.
Told me what he had for breakfast. Because he was so excited that his breakfast was bought, that he had to come all the way across the inlet. Not only for the respect of taps, but to tell me what he had to eat for breakfast. And
that's powerful right there.
yes, I mean that's a book. That's a book right there in itself. And but anyway, we've jumped off course. Let's go back to what you were talking about.
Oh, it's pretty much on
I got
course.
I got emotional. Took over the scenery there.
Oh, that's fine.
But Dom, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and
It's a pleasure to be here, man.
It's always a pleasure to have any veteran at all to come on my show. And if you're a veteran and you'd like to come on the show, I mean, please share, like, and follow this YouTube program. But I would like to have many more veterans come on this show, just to keep this show where it's supposed to be. And I do know we have some upcoming people as soon as I can get their schedule. We have the Leathernecks that's going to come back.
Awesome.
I've been waiting on several other people to get back. The American Heroes Association, I want to try to get them down here. I'd like to do an interview with them and let people out there know exactly what the American Hero is, and let them learn a little bit about them. And then, of course, you got the Mountaineer Warrior Alliance. I'd like for them to get in here and get them back in here again. And of course, I'd like to have you back on about 10, 15 times.
Anytime.
We always have fun.
That's true.
We always have a lot of fun.
Yes.
Especially when we're out. I mean, Mr. Brown is Blackout's, not Blackouts, but Mr. Brown is someone who likes to follow Blackout, but he likes to do the TV shows, or not the TV show, but the radio shows and live entertainment on Facebook, because he knows we always have fun.
Yeah.
Not only are we out there to honor and respect our veterans, but we have fun while we do it. And remember Miss Brandy?
Yes.
She was a trip.
She was.
And she paid for my last night in Gettysburg. She paid for my motel room the last night in Gettysburg.
That's right.
It's people like that make America what America is.
Yeah.
What you see today and all this crap going around, that's not America. That's not America. America is you and me sitting here drinking a beer and
That's right.
and smoking a cigar and talking.
Enjoying life, yeah. Just chat, enjoying life.
Exactly. That's American. Fighting and hating and arguing is not an American way. But guys, hey, I got something I need to bring up with you. Guys, we are on track for Daytona. the truck right now, the truck I finished out of my own pocket to get the truck taken care of, all the parts and everything. Because what happens here is I need to concentrate on with my auctions and stuff that I'm bringing stuff up to auction, and the money that I'm trying to collect is for our travel time. We are set to go to Daytona. Guys, this truck has never been south of Virginia. Alright? For 10 years, it's been north of the Virginia line. For the very first time, I am taking Blackout to Daytona Bike Week, which is the 4th all the way to the 16th in Daytona for Bike Week. And then when I get done at Daytona, I'm coming back, and one of the bars down in Daytona offered me to come to Myrtle Beach for Myrtle Beach Bike Week, and then turn around. Harley Davidson in Nags Head, North Carolina, now wants me to come to Nags Head, North Carolina. And then a gentleman by the name of Jesse James Dupree with Full Throttle Saloon. I'll be going to South Dakota for Sturgis as his guest with Blackout. Guys, I have some big plans with this truck, man, and it's going to travel. And people all over the country is going to start seeing this truck. And that's what we need to do. We need to get the message out. People need to see this truck. People need to see the truck up close to read what's on the truck. They need to understand that, you know, our heroes ain't in pro sports. That ain't our heroes. Our heroes is guys who died for us in the battlefield, or guys that's over there fighting on the battlefield, or those who come off the battlefield is back here at home. They're our true heroes. Ain't no sports legends. You know, it should be our military legends. Yeah, I mean, I respect some of the greats in football, baseball, basketball, whatever. I respect the greats, the people who were very talented at that sport, but they never gave their life for that sport, like our military.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to the military, you have a 50% chance of coming home and a 50% chance of not. You go in the NFL, you got a 99% chance of coming home.
Right.
You play baseball, you almost got a 100% chance of coming home.
Yeah.
Might not say you're not injured, but you know, I don't know. I hate getting into that part, but
Yeah.
But anyway, our trips are set. We got a lot of people working with us, but our funding for these trips, we got to keep working on it. I'm really working with these pamphlets and these auctions. Guys, don't forget, go to www.blackoutinc.org. Spread that word. Share this as much as you can. We need to make sure that you know, and if you're following this program, you know what I'm talking about. We need to make sure this truck hits as much of America as we can possibly hit. Oh, I'm going to New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
For the Gear Jammer 2-day truck show.
Okay.
Truck Nationals up in New Hampshire. I almost forgot that one. Mr. Conrad with the Gear Jammer magazine. Once I come up to New Hampshire for that, he is going to do an article in the magazine for the Blackout, you know, what it stands for. And,
Awesome. That's some good news there.
and then, of course, I'll be back in Overdrive magazine again with Mr. Todd Deals. Blackout will be back in Overdrive for where we're going this season. So it'll be all up in Overdrive magazine again.
Okay.
And I can't wait for that, you know, to be able to spread the dates, and some of the people that follow me on Facebook can actually come out to some of these places and see the truck for the first time. I've got probably over 150,000 followers, and probably 70% has never seen the truck in person.
Wow. I can believe that.
I would love for every 70% of you guys to see this truck
Yeah,
in
definitely.
person. You know, because I really respect that you guys follow me through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, whatever. I'm not into all the have somebody that does that, but there's several. I'm even in a new one now. MeWe.
Yeah, MeWe. Yep.
MeWe. I'm in that one now. So I can't tell you exactly a true number on how many, but I will say that I can honestly say that I have shaken the hands over 1 million veterans.
Yeah.
I can say that.
Definitely.
Because when you go to Rolling Thunder in Washington, D.C., the last year I was in Rolling Thunder, there was 1.6 bikes.
That was a lot of bikes.
Yeah. So just imagine, even if there's 2 people on a bike, which a lot of them brings their wives or whatever, or a girlfriend, you're talking, that's 1.6 bikes. Imagine how many people was there. Now imagine how many veterans. And I did that for 5 years in a row. So me saying 1 million, I'm probably way over that. I mean, I don't know how many veterans there is in America. How many veterans do you think there is in America?
It's 3%.
So what?
3% of the population is veterans. So if we have 331 million people in the United States, 3% of that.
So that would be like what, 7.8 point some million?
Yeah, give or take.
I want to be the one to shake 8 million veterans' hands. That's what I want to do. I want to say thank you for your service and welcome home to 8 million veterans. And if anybody can do it, I think I have a big chance of doing it. Because of what I do with the truck. I think that would be an honor for me to be able to say that I've done that. 8 million, 9 million, 10 million, whatever it is. It don't really matter.
Right.
I know I ain't gonna do that all in 1 year.
No, it's impossible.
I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years, so I don't even know the correct number on that one. It could be over 1 million.
Yeah,
I could be up to 3 or 4 million. I don't know. Rolling Thunder is bikes, veterans from all over the country. From California to
you figure you did that for 5 years, and the average is 1.6 bikes, and it's 2 people per bike, so that's 2.12 people each year. That's over 10 million people over the 5-year period.
That's cool shit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that word. YouTube, don't be mad at me. YouTube really works a lot with me. They don't condemn me and they don't shut me down because I kind of stick to my path. But I try not to say anything that corrodes the show or corrupts the show anymore.
It's all love.
So, is there anything you want to add, Rob?
There's one thing. I'll add. So, for those who don't know, I just became the executive director of Freedom Team Inc. That is a non-profit organization that we support our veterans as well as the caregivers of the veterans, the children, and our community. And when I say that is, like with Blackout. Blackout gets the donor dollars from the community. Okay, and then in return, Blackout supports the community. You're giving out cards, you're giving out stuff to the VA. You just had a big tractor trailer supplies go to the VA a few months ago, and that's how you give back. So how we give back at Freedom Team, we have 2 major programs. One is Freedom Farm Team, and we teach people to farm to table. So with that, we create these planter boxes, and we plant peppers, tomatoes, bok choy, greens, whatever you can grow within your area. And with that, guess what? You learn how to kind of use your time and have a purpose. Say, okay, I just planted this, I took care of this, I nurtured this, and now I can see the fruits of my labor. So now you're just not just eating better, you're also saving yourself some money. Because that's less money you have to worry about getting vegetables, stuff like that, because you're only going to plant what you eat. If you don't eat cucumbers, you don't plant cucumbers. Just something you just don't do. The next one is called Feast. Feast stands for Friends Eating and Sharing Together. And that's basically what we do is when we have our fundraisers, what we plan is every quarter, every 3 months, we provide a meal for free for lottie-dottie everybody. So it's either going to be like a spaghetti dinner, a steak dinner, hamburger, hot dogs, a dinner that everyone come through and just fellowship. And I explained this to our board on how it would happen. And picture this. Now, everyone is in different walks of life. Everyone is different. So imagine you coming out for a free meal. You say, you know what, I really don't know anyone. I'm just going to get my free meal, sit at this table, and I'm not going to say anything. That's fine. The next time you come out, you got your free meal, you look around, you're like, oh man, these people look familiar. Okay, yes, I support our veterans. I see my neighbor over there. You really don't say anything, no problem. The third time you come out, guess what? Wow, look at that nice little baby. Okay, hey, there's my neighbor. Hey, what's going on? Hey, come on, sit with me. Now you're fellowshipping. Now you're getting a better understanding. And that's what it's all about. Rome wasn't built in a day. But through time, through caring, through love, and sharing and fellowshipping, guess what? We will get the story out there. The neighbors can talk to one another again. You can hear a veteran story, a first responder story, a police officer story, or a product of a veteran, because guess what? Veteran children have stories too, because they lived a life through their mom or their dad that was the veteran. And yes, it wasn't hard, it wasn't easy all the time, it was difficult. You know, so we definitely support the children because there's secondary PTSD. You know, so, you know, just think about it. When I did 16 years, and me and my wife did the math, out of 16 years, I was only home 4 years. So when you hear that, there's two opinions I get. And these aren't negative opinions, so no one takes it the wrong way. Was I absent dad? I can say yes because I was deployed. But I still provided, you know, financially, morally. I just wasn't physically there. Did that play a big role in my son's and daughter life? Yes. But now that I'm not deployed, guess what? I can't make up that time. But what I can do is moving forward, make sure they get my undivided attention. Because no matter what we do, even if you're not in the military, if you're working all the time, there is a little void. But then once you're not working, as a parent, we make sure our children and say, okay, let me give them my undivided attention. You know, so I'm not taking away from any other, you know, occupation. I can only speak on my occupation of being deployed that many times and not being home. And it does take a toll. And sometimes when they're small, because when I was deployed, my children was very small. So they really didn't understand. They just know I wasn't there. But they knew that I called every night because back in 2000, 2001, 3, 4, 5, we didn't have FaceTime. We just didn't have it. You know, and a lot of people didn't understand it because it was like, well, couldn't you FaceTime? In 2002, there was no FaceTiming. You know, we still had working payphones actually, and we had pagers.
Facebook wasn't even there.
No, Facebook wasn't there. We had MySpace, I think.
Yeah, MySpace was the only one out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you know, a lot of people like my children didn't understand. They thought we just always had this technology, these smartphones. But smartphones wasn't established until the end of 2003.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I still had a flip phone.
Yeah, me too. I still had a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
So, and then you didn't really have the apps until about 2006. So, you know, it took a while. But now it's just a better understanding, and it's wonderful. And one of our mottos, we have two mottos. One is team. Together, let's see, team, T-E-A-M. Together, everyone achieves more. Team. Just like Blackout. Guess what? You partner up with other people, and guess what? Together, everyone achieves more.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about. And then our other motto is working hard to change tomorrow. Because as parents, we all work hard to change our outlook for our children. You know, and hey, I'm 45 years old, and I say when I have my first child, make sure they don't grow up the way I grew up. Because you're working hard to change tomorrow. And every parent does that. And as you know, you have children. There's no book of raising children.
Exactly.
It's always a trial and error. But
that's why you always hope that when your children grow up, they have kids so they can send them to you so you can spoil them and send them back to them.
That's right. That is so true. Get them more hyper on chocolate and send them back home.
Send them back with a box of sugar.
That's right. But Freedom Team Inc. is a wonderful organization, and we're definitely going to be partnering over Blackout. We're going to spread the word because I got some of your pamphlets the other day. You dropped them by, and have some of your placemats. So I actually dropped some of them off at the AMVETS that's in our community. So they'll have them at the bar, at the top of the bar, little I don't know what they call them, bar tops, where people sit at the bar and drink. So I don't know what's it called, a counter. I don't know.
That sounds like a good idea.
So, yeah. So, but definitely we're going to be spreading the word because, and Blackout, I've been following you since I did my inpatient in, 2015 or 14, when I did my inpatient at VA Medical Center in Martinsburg. And, I support Chuck here and all the people that follow him. I support his family. And it's just a wonderful partnership. And I wouldn't call it a partnership. This is a brother. This is my brother. This is family. And Chuck, anytime he calls me, text message me, hey, I'm going to answer. What you need? And the same thing. I know if I needed something, he'll be there for me.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all about. We have to reach one, teach one, and pay it forward. And of course, with everything that's happening in the world right now, of course it looks like it's all negative. But you can see right here, me and him sitting next to each other. We're having a wonderful conversation.
Yep.
That is how the world works. Every time I see a friend or something, the one thing we don't talk about is politics. It's not because politics is negative. It's because we have better things to talk about.
I hate politics.
Right. We have children. We talk about, we got to pay for college. We got to see what's going on in the Little League.
When I have lights, light bill's too high.
Right. That's what we talk about. We talk about everyday stuff. Yeah. Like, damn, the price of gas went up. We talk about that.
And of course, speaking of that, I hear diesel fuel is going to go up, which is going to affect me. Diesel fuel is going to go up, and I heard it's going to go up pretty good now.
Yeah, I heard 60 cents that it's going to go up.
And guys, that's going to affect me.
Yeah.
It's going to affect me because, like I told you in my previous shows, God bless everybody that donates, but understand, I'm on a fixed retirement fund, and what I did with the truck here in the last month or so to cover to get it done, so I didn't have to ask for donations to get it fixed and ready for the season. I just went ahead and did it, and then, that kind of set me back for a little bit. But the thing of it is, the truck is done.
Yeah.
And so now one thing we've got to do is concentrate on travel. But when the traveling starts, man, what am I going to be paying at the pump?
Yeah.
I carry 100 gallon of fuel. When I fill up, I carry 100 gallon of fuel. And I'm just wondering what I'm going to pay a gallon.
Yeah, because your dad sure can't tow it. No. Yeah, that's going to be, I can't even count that high.
I mean, I think that the way things are, here and what it's been over the past summer time, it was like $300, and right there around $300, I was filled up. 150 per half, more or less.
Yeah.
And man, what's it going to go up to? It's going to be almost $500 to fill that thing up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I won't know until we see what the prices go to.
Yeah.
It's going to get tough. It's going to get tough. But what? I ain't going to give up, man.
No.
I ain't going to give up.
We're fighters.
I'm going to keep her rolling. I don't
Warriors.
care. I don't care if I got to hitchhike to South Dakota and put a chain on Blackout and pull him by my back. I'll do it.
That's right.
But I'm going. I'm going to get the truck somewhere or another. It's going out there. I can't wait, man. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I mean, I don't look like, you must say, yeah, you look excited. No. No, I am
Trust me,
excited.
we're excited, trust me. I'm excited for him.
I am excited to go.
Yeah.
Just to roll this truck down 95, well, it's been Virginia, but 95 in Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, and Georgia, and Florida, just to get to see the people's face when they see this truck rolling by with the memorial and everything, and to get the photographs and the looks, that tells me, hey, people were seeing, freedom wasn't free.
That's it.
They're seeing the cross, they're seeing the military cross, they're seeing everything about the truck, and when they're taking pictures of it, they're going home and they're looking at these pictures. And my statement was, for that split second, my statement was there.
Yeah.
And whether it stays there is up to the individual.
Yeah. You have a hashtag? Do you have a hashtag Blackout?
Huh.
you should do a hashtag. Like when you do
I don't even know what a hashtag is.
Okay, hashtag is basically the let's see that number key, the number, and then you type in blackout. So right now what I'm envisioning is like when you drive to Virginia, when you drive to Florida, as everyone has their smartphone out, they could take a picture of your truck on 95, 81, 83, and hashtag a blackout and trace blackout off for every trip. That would be monumental.
I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't need to learn how to do it. I guess the people who are doing it need to get I need to set it up, right?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to set up a hashtag. People just have to hashtag it. I can do it right now. Just put in their hashtag blackout and create it. And then each time someone uses the hashtag, you get more followers. So every time they put a hashtag blackout, they'll see your truck.
Wow. So what I have to do, I have to go in and set that up?
No, it's just basically just like if I pull up Facebook right now and I just type in, and we'll do it right here. We'll do hashtag and then type in blackout. Boom. And then if I had a picture of blackout, I would put it in there. And then that hashtag goes with that picture. So every time someone puts in blackout, they'll see your truck.
Wow.
And it works even better on Instagram. I don't have Instagram on my iPad, but when you do it on Instagram, boom, it'll keep coming up.
Is that what just come up on my phone?
I think so. I think I hit send. It might have came up. I mean, he's gonna have a hashtag of inside of the American Legion.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, good. I was about to say, wow. Woo.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now I'm getting off cell phone, guys.
We can create that.
Hashtag blackout. I like that idea, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna have that up by the next show. I'll
Definitely.
let you know. We're gonna do that. So if you ever see blackout and you're out there on the road, you'll be able to do the hashtag thing.
Yep.
And not only will it tell me that, hey, one of my followers or by your name seen my truck and they sent this picture or whatever, and that'd be cool.
It'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
So when you search it, search hashtag blackout, see what comes up. And then put in photos. And everyone that used that hashtag, all their stuff will come up. So of course the internet's a little slow, but you would be able to see. Boom, see that's blackout, but that's not your blackout. But so everyone that used that hashtag, all that stuff will come up. We have Jeeps.
Now, would I have to change it from just blackout or just blackout POWMIA?
You can put in that blackout POWNIA. Oh, that's nothing. Yeah, so that hadn't even been used yet. So that's
All right, good.
for you.
So I need to come up with something so it's not mixed in with anybody else's thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Hashtag blackout on the internet. Put it out on the internet. See what happens. See what comes up.
That's mine there.
Oh, boom! There you go. Yep. See, it says Facebook, so that's you on Facebook. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll put POWMIA. See what comes up on that one. Nothing right now. It's just these little minor things. Yeah. It's.
We'll be famous like Tiger Woods and his daddy.
Boom! There you go. We're gonna start that hashtag blackout POIA.
We'll be famous like Tiger Woods and his daddy.
That's right. What movie was that on? Was that Happy Gilmore?
Yes, Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
Yep. Like that at the end when Mama knocked him out.
Yep.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, we'll have the hashtag thing done by the next show.
Definitely.
And I want to thank Mr. Brown for bringing that up to me. I never even thought about that. I didn't know what hashtag meant, but I heard that used before several times, but I never really paid attention to what it meant.
Yeah.
But now that I know, then we'll use that.
Definitely.
We'll use
That's right.
YouTube, House of Blackout, and don't forget, every Sunday, WRGG 93.7 Greencastle, Pennsylvania,
Yep.
between 6 and 7 o'clock, the Warrior Power Hour, alright? This young man right here
Boom.
will be on there for an hour.
That's right.
You got to hear what he's got to say.
I try to spread the knowledge.
And believe me, you'll keep tuning back in.
Oh yeah.
I do. Of course, he's my family. So, but definitely, man. Well, listen. God bless. God bless you,
Same here, brother.
and God bless you for tuning in to the House of Blackout.
That's right.
Don't forget www.blackoutinc.org, and we will see you real soon. God bless our veterans. Love you. Bye.
Bye.